Speak up.
Speak up. There you go.
Don't tell him that.
Should I use my Steve voice? Can I have my pen there? Big boy? Okay, recording's on. We will call the LaGrange County Plan Commission January 13th, 2026 meeting to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Lynn,
Here.
Jeff,
Here.
Zach.
Here.
Kevin,
Here.
Ethan,
Here.
Shannon.
Here.
Paul,
Here.
and Tyler.
Here.
First meeting of the year, we have election of officers this evening, leading off the agenda. I don't care.
I'll make a motion to nominate Lynn Bowen as Plan Commission President.
Second. Make a motion to close the nominations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to elect me once again as the president of the Plan Commission. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries, and we need a president of vice.
Nominate Tyler Young.
Second.
I'll make a motion to close the nominations.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of, excuse me, Tyler being vice president, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, and I believe that's all. Oh,
We're gonna retain Robbie.
no, we have to retain.
Dustin.
Make a motion to retain the Plan Commission staff, including Robbie Miller and Krista and our fine attorney down there, Dustin Glick, and Kaylee Baker.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. There will be invitation for public comment on the non-public hearing items this evening. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries, and the minutes of the meeting. I did not see any errors.
There's no additions or corrections. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, the first order of business is a public hearing to PUD. And Robbie, go ahead. Oh, wait. Let me give you the ground rules. The petitioner will have 15 minutes to explain why they need a PUD. Anybody remonstrating against the PUD would have 15 minutes also. And then the petitioner would have 5 minutes to answer any questions brought up by the petitioner. This will go to the commissioners, correct? Okay, with a recommendation. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
First one on the agenda is 25 PUD 02, Spring Township, Section 29, Township 36 North, Range 9 East, with Zone A2. It's located south of 63rd South and West of Eagle. Application is for proposed planned unit development for approximately 10 acres for mixed use to continue development of assembling of portable wood frame storage buildings, mill barns, staging of finished sheds, and kitchens to retail. This is our PUD. This lot here is for the business. We have a residential lot down here. And this one here in the middle is staying in residential use. So representative.
Good evening, Scott Ziegler and Clayton Evans with Hamden Plow Surveying, 5678 West, 350 South, Albion. So we're here representing Lyle tonight. Lyle's got an existing business there. I think the intent would be we'd like to, I guess should back up a minute. We did a few years ago do a minor subdivision to cut off the house to the north when Lyle built his house on the south side of the property. And then at that time, we weren't really sure what we wanted to do with the business, how the business was going to expand, or if we needed another house lot down there or what. So at this point, he wants to transfer the business itself to the boys. The one of them lives to the north there. So the main purpose would be to divide the property into 3 tracts that exist now, one with the residential structure, one with the business, and one with the vacant tract in the middle that either could be for future business expansion or a home site there. So no immediate construction, right? Is that correct?
Believe so.
We've had some recent, a couple of different site plans over the years here, but the main thing would be to divide the property. And again, it made sense to just clean this up and do the PUD at this point.
The existing parcel lines are adjusted a little bit for those lots, but there's still 3 parcels. Yeah.
Obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but any substantial business expansion would more than likely require some sort of an amended PUD, simply because I think we're up against the lot coverage area on the north lot there. So you'll see this again if there's any major change there. We don't anticipate anything at this point in time. The main thing, again, just transfer it to the next generation is what we're looking at.
There is some phase 1, basically stone and dirt work proposed out by the road to narrow down their road access point, in coordination with what the county highway was hoping for out there, as well as there is a phase, and additionally some parking spaces in the southeast corner of lot 1 for the site plan, development plan, if you will. And there's outdoor storage, so there's some privacy fence proposed, some additional buffering proposed, and then a possible future building expansion on the east side of the existing building shown as phase 2.
I guess that would entertain any questions if you have any.
What was the purpose of the initiation of the PUD? Was it to split the business off from the home?
Yes. Yeah. Because Lyle's wanting to transfer the business to the son, so we needed to be able to transfer that parcel. And then say the one son lives on the north piece that we already had split off previously. And the reason we didn't do that a couple of years ago was we wasn't exactly sure what that was going to look like, and what we needed was a business going to expand more. Do we need more room for the business, or do we definitely need a home lot or whatever there? So we just didn't really know at the time a couple of years ago when we did the plat and created the residential tract to the north.
What are we at lot coverage for lot 1, I guess, right now?
It's right on the page, the face of the plat. It's at 73%.
Okay. Well, this is pretty tiny.
That's all right.
Okay. And the reason that the north property was not included in the PUD is?
We already sold that off.
That's been
Previously,
sold
we already
off.
did a plat and sold that off. Previously.
Okay. Okay.
At the time when the minor subdivision was created and approved, it was kind of agreed upon that this PUD would come as kind of the next step for the property if any future development or division was proposed. So I think that answers a little bit more of why we're doing it now.
Some of this is referring to the size of the print, like was already mentioned, but all the pink, you already mentioned the possible additional structure on the east side,
Mhm.
but the L-shaped and then the,
Yeah, kind of a reddish color.
yeah.
That's just showing existing location of where they are staging the finished sheds. So it's labeled on there as well. So those are not proposed buildings.
Okay.
It's just,
And the staging area is gravel? Is it
it's a gravel.
grass? It's gravel material? Okay. What is the coverage limit then, Robbie?
For the industrial,
Mm-hmm.
70%.
75.
Okay. Okay.
Clayton, is there any provision for like a dumpster or waste?
There is a dumpster currently on the property. It's at the southwest corner of the east building there on lot 1. And it is proposed to have an enclosure added to conform with the I zoning standards.
So that will be I-2. Am I
I-1.
seeing that correctly in there, or is that a 1?
I believe it's I-1, yeah.
Okay,
Actually, there's 2.
I thought it said 2.
There are, that may be a typo. I believe I-1 is the intention. If it says I-2, we need to correct that.
Okay, I think it says I-2.
I'm under the understanding that there might be some burning on that property of wasted material.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Potentially, the landowner's here to speak to that if you'd like him to.
Will that dumpster eliminate the burning?
Is Lyle here?
He is here. They were asking about if there's any burning on the business lot and if the dumpster can be used in place if there is.
He needs to come up.
Go.
Oh, yeah, sorry, come on up here.
For the mic, please.
I think they'll have you state your name and address.
Yeah.
Did you want to restate the question for Lyle?
Yes. Are you burning materials on that property? From the
There's
business?
actually- My son's, it's right on the end. You can see there's a burn pile there, but that's my son's and what he just does in homeowner. There's a big dumpster out there. If you look for it, there's one right behind the shop and there's a big one on the outside down towards that end of the property.
So materials from the business
Yes.
are going in the dumpster, not the burn pile.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, how many sheds are you putting out each day?
Between 3 and 5 sheds a day.
I have seen the quality of sheds that's been going out in well-kept place, so I make a motion to approve the PUD as presented.
We got.
Thank you.
Yes, we have a public hearing going on, so we gotta go next. So is that all you guys got right now? Okay. Is there anybody here else here this evening who would like to speak in favor of this PUD? Is there anybody here this evening who would like to remonstrate or is against this PUD? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. I'll go.
I'll make a motion to approve the PUD for Lyle Yoder as presented.
It's a recommendation.
Favorable.
So it's favorable, unfavorable, and no recommendation.
I'll move to do a favorable recommendation. Thank you, Robbie, for Lyle Yoder's PUD.
Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
I had a quick question.
Go ahead.
Scott, you're planning on putting a grass buffer between the driveway and the road? Does that sound right?
That's what's proposed.
Yeah, there'll be that buffer and then there'll be that privacy fence.
We do have quite a bit of water that runs off that developed site into the road and down the road, kind of causes some erosion. So I just didn't know what your thoughts were on that. How are we going to address that water coming off on that easterly side of that lot?
I would imagine Theron's gonna wanna, the highway's gonna want some sort of a site, make sure we put that grass back in there and should deal with that at that point.
There's already like a tape line across there now, I think. Is that-
There was a drive north of the PUD that was closed recently. And then I think they'll continue to move south to update the rest, yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, right now the water goes out in the road and kind of washes the road out down through there. So
Oh,
obviously the
we
grass,
can't have that.
the grass will help in a roadside ditch, but the water still gets down the intersection. It's got to go somewhere. They've done a decent job on the back side of the lot, but the whole front lot slopes towards the road pretty drastically.
Like the plan would be if we add on to the east, we could put downspouts and gutters on that and that would should collect all that roof water and then we could pipe that away from the road.
Is there a detention area on the?
On the south lot, in the middle lot, there's
Yeah,
a
right here.
detention area there, we could pipe
But
that.
this is all sloping that way. It's hard to bring it
Yeah,
back.
sure.
But I just had a question there.
Okay.
The east side of the existing building also has downspouts and those are piped to the detention area as well.
Yeah, correct. It's all pretty good except that front side where it all slopes to the road.
Yeah, so with that second addition, we'd eliminate half of that area that's going to be shedding across that, and that'll be collected and piped away then.
Is that going to be added on pretty soon, Scott? You know, or what's the plan on that?
Not necessarily. I guess we don't have a time frame.
All right, well, we have a motion to approve and a second, so let's go ahead and vote if there are.
We passed it on with the
Oh,
recommendation.
that's, excuse me, we're passing it on with a favorable recommendation to the commissioners if we vote for it. So let's go ahead and vote for that.
Tyler,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Ethan,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
and Paul.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda.
We're looking at a site plan, it's 25 SP 79. It's Newberry Township, section 3, township 37 north, range 8 east, zone I2. It's located at 3790 north, state road 5, Shipshewana. Application is for proposed 80 by 90 warehouse for an existing business. What they're proposing.
It's a busy site plan.
The representative,
Levi Rednauer with Land and Boundary, 401 South 3rd Street, Goshen, Indiana. Yeah, they want to put in the warehouse there. A couple things that we had noted from tech review. We needed to show utilities on there. We got the clear okay with that in that area. They also wanted to see a tie to of the 3 parcels. We've got that filed, or we don't have it filed yet, but we've got it filled out, ready to be filed. Outside of that, that was just to basically fit our lot coverage as well as fit our parking to make sure we had enough for all the space.
So that takes, I had a question about the lot coverage on that particular parcel.
Yeah.
So that will take care of that lot coverage issue?
Yeah, doing the tie to add the
Okay.
3 parcels together.
Okay. And when do you foresee that being done?
We've got it filled out right now. So as early as tomorrow.
Okay.
so we have to have it recorded before we go.
Okay. Does that require a updated site plan then? No? Okay.
So they're tying the parcels, or are they combining them?
Can't combine them, they're time.
Okay.
Is there any public comment on this non-public hearing item this evening? Where does all this water flow, Zach?
Yeah, detention pond out back, or
Is it adequate?
most developed, yes.
Okay.
Obviously, some of the green space flows where it naturally goes.
Okay.
You know, any flooding issues or any water problems at this site?
I like the fact that we're developing I zones with I uses and on a state highway. Very nice. There's no further discussion amongst the board. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Let's go ahead and vote.
Kevin,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Ethan,
Yes.
and Zach.
Yes.
All right, you've been approved. Thank you very much.
Next one on the agenda is also a site plan. It's 25 SP 82. We're in Eden Township, Section 6, Township 36 North, Range 8 East, Zone A2. It's located at 11565 West, 300 South Shipshewana. Application is for proposed business of custom-built cedar outdoor products with furniture, raised beds, and dormers. It's full scale only. Here's our site plan. Here's our parcels. Proposed structure.
Scott Ziegler and Clayton Evans with Hand of the Plow Surveying again. So as Robbie mentioned, this would be a new building. We got a phase 1 and phase 2 on that. Reflecting our stormwater and discharging that into the county ditch. We went to the drainage board and got approval with the plan with a couple of modifications with that. So Clayton, you got any comments there?
If you noticed on the original aerial photography, the GIS used to have a jog in the one line. So if someone's gonna ask about that, that has been fixed now. So that was one detail to mention. Yeah, other than that, our coverage is proposed at around 23% for the site, excluding agricultural uses, and making use of an existing driveway. This is just creating an opportunity for an existing business to grow and expand on the same property. And I believe also potentially for a related business to also make use of this space. So make the whole situation more efficient for everyone. Yeah.
And with the proposed phase 2, that's basically all that this property can have unless we go across a ditch, which isn't practical. So
Yeah.
that you're limited by the size and the coverage up there on that side.
Is there a public comment on this non-public hearing item this evening?
Scott, is this an existing business moving here to this home site, or is this a startup site?
The shop that's a current is where the business is at currently.
How long has it been on operation?
4 years.
4 years? Okay.
All the products are made out of cedar.
Exclusively, yeah.
It's impressive.
Smells really good in there.
Better than plastic.
Yeah.
There's a bridge over it.
It has a culvert crossing and then a walking bridge both.
Okay.
That's the walking bridge.
Anybody have any other questions?
How many employees, Scott, do you know is gonna work at the site?
You can probably answer that the quickest. What would be the current and then maximum number of employees that you would have at the site?
Current is 4 max.
Current
I think
4.
we had 8 on the site plan checklist, so somewhere in that range, yeah.
How many loads in and out trucks day?
Did you want him to come up here?
It'd be helpful.
Okay. Would you mind coming up and answering some of their questions?
Is that? How many truckloads in and out a day? Furniture going out, wood coming in?
On the average, at 1 a day.
This is all wholesale, correct?
Yeah.
And you mentioned another business possibly? Related business?
Yes.
What would that be?
That's what you CNC routing.
Oh.
It's listed on their application.
Okay.
Routing wood products.
What do you do with all your scrap material that you have left over?
Waste hopper.
Hopper. Who, do you have a trash service removes that?
Borden.
Is that,
Borden.
So no burning on this site?
It's not.
Okay.
I move to approve the site plan as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Let's go ahead and vote.
Ethan,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Zach,
yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
and Tyler.
Yes.
You've been approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move on to the CFO for 25 SP 83 Van Buren Township, Section 21, Township 4, Range A East, it's zoned A2, located west of 6870 North, 900 West Shipshawana. Application is for proposed 43 by 600 Northern Poultry Broiler Barn, feed bin pad, covered manure stack, and a motor room. Here's our site plan, so they're adding a second building on the property. This is added.
Could you stop right there just for a second? Okay. Parcel doesn't look like that on the drawing, does it? That we have?
You're correct. Then.
I'm correct.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll
I
explain
had
that
a
in
bit
a
of a
minute.
problem.
I'll explain that in a minute.
You'll explain that in a minute? I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you. That was a conundrum for me when I was looking at it. Okay, very good. I'll let you explain that.
Okay. Tiffany from Agronomic Solutions, 336 East Lake Street, Topeka. This is an existing Miller Poultry AFO farm. They are proposing a second barn with Miller Poultry. They will have outdoor pastures between the two barns. Each barn will have outdoor pastures. This will be IDEM permitted. We turned in an IDEM permit in November. IDEM is running behind in the engineering department, and so we do not have that permit yet. It is pending. The difference in the parcels that you see is because the main parcel that you're seeing on the site plan is listed in Nathan's name along with his parents, where the parcel to the north is just in his parents' name. However, the permit, the IDEM permit is in Nathan and his wife's name, with his parents signing as landowners. So because the parcels aren't in the same name, they can't be combined.
Correct. Unless they put them in the same name, they could combine them.
They could combine them that way, yes.
Okay. And the compost looks to be in a different
Yes.
spot than traditionally?
So there is an existing compost structure, however, that won't be sufficient. So we're building a new or a manure storage, and on the back of that, there will be a compost bin built along with it. They both will be concrete floor with roof cover.
That's gonna be at the same location though.
I'm sorry.
The larger compost is gonna be at the same location.
It'll be right on the back of the manure stack. So the existing compost bin will just be used for different storage, not any kind of manure storage or anything like that. It'll just be like equipment storage, extra equipment storage. But the new compost bin will be on the backside or the east side of the new manure stack.
Tiffany, can you remind me of why on the bigger site plan you used both parcels versus just the one parcel? Why you had to why you had to use both parcels in the site plan? Was it?
So there are cattle and that are pastured in the back, and also that is part of the land use agreement for spreadable acres.
So the parcels had to be combined to go through the ID?
They do not need to be
Not
combined.
combined, but they had to be put
We
together?
used the additional acreage on the parcel to the north for spreadable acres.
To get the permit.
Okay, so does that mean that neither parcel could ever be sold then, or how's that
Not
work?
necessarily. We just have to have enough acreage for spreadable. So like, if they don't have enough acreage to spread on their land, either they sell it or distribute it, or they find different acreage to spread on.
So these two barns are proposed to be entirely self-contained on the land. There will be no,
At this point, yes, besides the acreage to the north that isn't in Nathan's name alone.
right.
And they'll be spreading the manure themselves then.
Yes, they will be. As soon as they get a license, or they will have a contracted license hauler until they do. As you can see, we have an existing drive back there, but where the drive cuts off, we are proposing a drive that will continue to come around. Excuse me, the filter strip that IDEM requires to have around the pastures to the east, there will be a driveway that comes back to the end of the barn on the proposed barn. So they'll have access back there.
How big is the cattle operation?
There are, in the barn, there's a barn up close that are confined and they just have a small pasture. There are 30, and then in the back, there are 75. So there's just over 100 total. The ones in the back are not confined at all, and they're just on pasture. They don't have barn access at all.
Is there any public comment on this non-public hearing item this evening?
Tiffany, would it not go through the IDEM process without including the other parcel as spreadable?
No, I didn't
Including
have
it.
enough pasture or spreadable acres without the extra acreage.
So I guess my question is why include it?
Why include it? I needed
Yes.
the spreadable acres.
You needed it for the IDEM
Yeah,
permitting.
I'm
So
sorry, did I
without-
say it wrong the first time? I needed the acreage for spreadable acres.
So without that included, it wouldn't have went through the IDEM process?
I would have had to have other acreage somewhere.
Okay.
We would have had to get other farm acreage.
Or it contracted or
Yeah.
somebody signed for
Mhm.
it?
There's no further discussion. I'll move to approve the site plan.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And if it, like Tyler said, if there's no further discussion, we'll go ahead and vote.
Shannon,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Ethan,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Yes. You've been approved. Thank you very much.
we move on to 25 SB 84, we're in Union Township, section 24, township 36 north, range 80, with zone A2. It's located at 5180 south, 675 west Topeka. Application is for a proposed woodworking business, a house and furniture, for sale, no on-site finishing. Here's our proposed site plan. They're planning on using the existing structure.
Okay, you're on.
All right. This is existing parcel, actually parcels, existing structure, existing drives. They are going to be expanding and reshaping the driveway a little bit, changing the doors and windows on the structure. It was built, I believe, back in 13. That's the wrong person, thank you. Back in 13 as a chicken barn. It's no longer being used as a chicken barn. So it's currently being prepared to go through the commercial design release process. It's going to raise part of the roof and change the layout and everything. For that, went through tech review. There's an existing septic tank that can be used with IDO approval. Got some parking spaces proposed, loading, unloading, turnaround. Existing well, so some landscaping proposed, but all in all, pretty straightforward proposal.
So is this a new business?
It is.
Okay. At least on this site.
I believe it's a new business altogether. Yeah.
New altogether.
He purchased a business that was closing out, and this is a new business.
New reiteration. Okay.
New owner. Yep. New name.
Okay. And only one of the buildings is part of the business, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
There's also a dust collector. I forgot to add that.
And this all gets wholesaled out. How many trucks are we looking at today here then? If any.
Let me look at the checklist here. So they said average trips would be about 12 a day, not including, and that's not exclusively semi-deliveries, that's employees, everything. So relatively small.
Would the petitioner mind coming up to the podium?
You mind coming up, David?
What's your name, please?
David Miller.
David Miller. Mr. Miller, this is a new business for you?
Yes,
You've obviously got previous experience.
I do, yeah.
This barn, is it going to be plenty big for your business?
It is.
It
That's
is?
why I got storage in the back.
Okay. It's my concern is with the business being there, hopefully the building's big enough for your business. I would, it doesn't look like you have a whole lot of room to expand if you ever wanted to. I'm happy that you're repurposing this chicken barn to create a business to support yourself. I would like to make a motion that there will be no future expansion on this lot to protect the rest of your property. Would that be something you'd be okay with?
I say so, yeah. For the size of the building that it is, I got plenty of room, yeah.
Okay. That was, with that being said, I'd make a motion to say no future expansion on this lot for this particular business.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for no future expansion of this business on this particular lot. Is there any further discussion?
Scott, do you have a dumpster on there somewhere for the,
I don't, but I will put one on.
Okay, could that be added to the site plan as a condition of approval?
We're not ready to improve yet, are we? No, we're just voting on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So we have a motion for no freeze expansion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Is there any public comment on this non-public hearing item before I forget? Okay, thank you. What kind of furniture are you going to be making then?
It's benches, hall seats, dinette sets.
Oh. Okay. Good. And you will not be finishing them on site. You will farm that out. Okay. That's the best part. You get to see a wood, come to life.
Stinks.
But that's, yes, it does, yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the site plan as presented.
Second.
And we did have you did make it, we did have a dumpster.
I recommend that he adds a
Okay.
place for.
So we have a dumpster and we have no future expansion on that. And you have a second? Okay, let's go ahead and vote.
Tyler,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes,
Ethan,
Yes.
and Jack.
Yes.
Thank you.
you've been approved. Thank you much.
We're gonna move on to 25 SP 85. We're in Clay Township, Section 8, Township 37 North and 9 East, with zone 18. We're located at 2435 North, 450 West LaGrange. Application is for 80 by 150 proposed leather goods production building.
So this is a new building also.
The representative,
Ben Stanley, 2810 Dexter Drive, Elkhart, Indiana, with surveying and mapping. So this site plan is for the addition or proposed construction of a 12,000 square foot manufacturing building for production of, as she said, leather, mostly leather belts. This will be wholesale only, not for retail purposes.
Is this just a relocation from another?
It's an addition from of another location of the same business. Yeah, expansion.
Will all the business be moved to this location or will there be existing elsewhere?
It will also be continuing to exist. Oh, it's all moving. Okay, yes, it's all moving here.
It's all moving here, all moving, okay. That takes my next question away, okay? And how many acres is this tract? Let me look here, if I can find it.
7.15.
There it is, okay. That's right.
How many employees are planned to be at this site, this new site?
So 10 is the plan. All in one shift.
It'd be a new lane to get back to that location. Isn't this what it's on the northeast corner of the parcel?
Right, yeah, there is an existing drive there, but we'll be expanding that.
Where's this water go, Zach?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right, he owns the parcel to the north too, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's pretty flat, but he does put a detention pond just flow to the north, but he does own that parcel as well.
okay.
And he has a decent amount of space.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick question on the leather goods. Since you wholesale them, I guess, where do they get attributed to? And like what's all made? Obviously leather, belts, wallets, but like bags, everything. Are they like, do they custom orders for people, or are they just making materials and selling them to the open market for retail purposes?
You could ask the owner if you'd like. He's here.
See here?
Yes.
You want to come up here and give your name real quick and
Levi Shock, 2435 North, 450 West, LaGrange.
how long you doing this business?
So just recently,
Just recently? Okay. My question is, the materials you make, are they made to order, or you just make a bunch of materials and then you have outlet market that you sell them to, or how's that work for distribution?
so a lot of these belts get sent to shopping malls, and then there's online sales as well that we make per order.
And you have contracts with retail customers set up to buy your belts?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Is it mostly belts then, or do you make other?
it's 100% belts.
Oh, really? Okay.
You have local stores that carry them, don't you?
Yes.
Is there any public comment on this non-public hearing item?
Can you explain the process on how these belts are made? Do you get the leather in? Do you do any processing of the leather, or you get it? Is it prepared when you receive it?
It is. It comes in 5x6 sheets.
Okay.
And we cut them in strips and put them through a machine to laminate.
Okay.
So you're not doing much significant dyeing where there's going to be a lot of chemicals involved and things like that.
I suppose you're gonna have a restroom in here? Do you have is your septic shown anywhere on the site plan?
Yeah, the septic is up in the front. There's a location shown there on sheet 1.
Gotcha. You're putting it clear to the front lot there, or the front island.
Correct. Yeah.
How many employees do you have?
10.
10, okay, forgot. Well, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
One question real quick.
Okay.
Since you brought my attention to the septic field, it's the lines going from the building to the tank is going to be under the driveway.
Correct.
What's going to keep it, are semis going to be coming in and out of there?
Yes.
What's going to keep that line from being crushed?
Yeah. Well, I haven't designed that. That's going to be designed by others. It's not designed yet or permitted yet to my knowledge, but presumably we would have to armor that somehow. It would have to be either encased or capped with concrete or something like that to protect it if it's not deep enough. That's correct. Yeah.
Could that be a stipulation that's from the something from the health department that's going to be done?
Well, it's gonna be, he has to get a permit through the health department
Right.
anyways.
I'll have to inspect it.
Yeah, he'll have to inspect it,
Okay.
whatever his requirements are.
What the state's requirements.
I'll second your motion then.
Okay. That's a good question. It bothers me a little bit now that I think about it. Okay.
So if that line gets crushed, it's just going to pull up and raw sewage is going to come to the top.
Nobody gets fixed fast.
Well, yeah, it'd be better if it didn't happen at all, though. Okay.
I don't think at River Woodworking, I know we have our sewer line underneath our driveway. There's no special things happening. Semi's going across it. So, I know it's 1.5 feet deep.
Yeah, as long as you got good cover.
It's got this they have to put the SDR 35 in. So I don't think it's an issue.
Well, you're the builder, so I'm gonna count on you for that. All right, so we have a motion and a second, correct? Okay, and I asked for public comment. I did. All right, let's go ahead and vote.
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
and Kevin.
Yes.
All right, you've been approved. Thank you very much. Any communications, Robbie? Committee board administrators report. Okay, under other business this evening, we have a discussion for the plan commission members on proposed changes to manufacturing in A1, A2 zoning districts, the addition of construction trades as permitted uses in A1, A2, I1, and I2 zoning districts, and revisions to animal feeding operation setbacks and agreements with neighboring properties. This is a discussion between the plan commission members. This is not a public hearing. All right, public hearings is where public comment is allowed. This is not a public hearing. If somebody is adamant about speaking to us tonight about this, we can have a few public comments, but we're not gonna have, I don't know, what, 75, 80, 100 public comments. Okay, we would like to go home before midnight. So anyway, we'll start off with Robbie on the first one we're gonna discuss this evening.
I took them out a little bit out of order from that one. I thought the one we should discuss first is the construction trades. When we did the UDO, they're not mentioned at all in there. There's been some discussion about adding suppliers, and so I am proposing that we add construction trades definition, which is electrical contractors and suppliers, general contractors, heating and cooling contractors and suppliers, landscaping contractors and suppliers, plumbing contractors and suppliers, and the like. So that would be a definition that we would add to our unified development ordinance, and permitted zoning districts would be A1, A2, I1, and I2. Also under some use regulations, all materials shall be screened from view from all streets and all neighboring properties with an opaque fence that is at least 6 feet, not more than 9 feet in height. No material or object shall be displayed or stored outside of the fence, and no material or object shall extend above the fence.
Should we have a business zone in with that as well, or not?
Like a B2 or?
Yeah, not like a retail business zone, but like,
So we don't really have a business.
we don't have a
zone.
business.
It's personal services, retail, that type of stuff.
Okay.
Highway businesses, I guess maybe would fit under a B3.
Okay.
As a highway business.
Since we have a big crowd, can anybody think of anything else that needs to be included in that list of services? We have electrical contractors, suppliers, general contractors, heating and cooling company contractors and suppliers, landscaping contractors and suppliers, plumbing contractors and suppliers, and the like. I guess and the like take care of whatever else there might be.
Well, in case you forgot one,
Excavating.
excavating.
Yeah,
Put that in
that kind of
there.
fits in landscaping, but excavating.
Drywall, is that anything that needs to be specific or? No? Okay.
Robert, to follow up on Tyler's question, he said something about a B3, if this would be permitted in a B3 or not. What's your response? I didn't hear you.
He said in a business district, most of the business districts are for personal services, retail, that kind of stuff. And so that's why I didn't propose it there.
Okay. But could a construction business be located in a B3?
We could easily add a B3 for it. It's a highway business district, so
Yeah, I just think about Jaguar Construction down there on 9 and 700.
good point.
Just because he's doing retail business, but he's also housing and construction. I guess his vehicles and stuff there. I think it'd be worth adding in. Just
A lumber yard is included in B2 and B3 allowances.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I liken, yeah,
It's retail. That's why I only went, that's why I didn't go with the Bs.
It's just a question. I don't know what the right answer is.
All right, I think it's fine to add B3. If
Yeah.
we can add B2, we can add B2.
What is the difference between the 2 and the 3, B2 and 3?
Just the type of businesses, postal services versus B3 is called the highway business district. You usually see it on a major road. Versus in town, B1, B2, B4. B4 is definitely downtown area.
I think 3 would take care of it, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I just know that in downtown, which is on the south side of county line, right? In downtown Wilkesville, there's a new construction office in there.
That's what he was
Yeah.
just talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, he's also housing his crew, like his big overhead doors for his trailers and stuff too behind that. So that's B3 zone.
Okay. So we're ready to act on that at some point. We would have to have a public hearing though.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
this is just a discussion tonight. That's why we added the B3. Is there anything else that you want to have added to it? Otherwise, this is what we would propose for the change to the UDO.
B3 and excavating, I think you said is part of the list of.
Which one do you want to do next?
Go ahead and let's just roll.
So the next one is manufacturing. So our current UDO does not distinguish between light and heavy manufacturing in any zoning district. So there was some discussion at a plan commission, at the end of the plan commission meeting, that we should limit the number of employees and the size of the building allowed in the agricultural districts, like the old ordinance. So here is definition 14.02 is proposed definition for manufacturing for heavy, manufacturing for light. If you want to read through those. Again, that's just a definition.
So my question is, why would we have the up to 5 employees for manufacturing light?
That's not in the
That's
definition.
that's not in the definitions,
This is just-
Kevin.
We're just looking at definitions.
Sorry, I'm looking at the standards, my fault.
Sorry, no, that's fine. Just a definition right now, for heavy manufacturing and light manufacturing.
What makes us do the heavy and the light? Is there, instead of just manufacturing? Is it the type of business?
The type of business. Generally, light manufacturing has little impact on the surrounding properties. They don't have the outside storage, they don't have odors. Usually in heavy manufacturing, you have outside storage, you can have odors. Let's see. If you look at the definition for light manufacturing, it ordinarily does not create noise, smoke, fume, odors, glare, or health or safety hazards outside of the building or lot where such assembly, fabrication, or processing is done.
The leather manufacturer, you don't even know they're there.
Correct.
A welding
Yeah.
shop, it's pretty apparent.
Yeah.
So
So that
it's
would
just
be
Understood.
both manufacturing, one's on a leather belt, which is pretty, I mean, but the welding is, you get a lot of stuff sitting around, a lot of materials, raw and stuff you're working on. So it's, I guess that it's,
Like a finish shop or
yeah, there's some stuff obviously between those two things.
yeah,
You said a finishing shop would be heavy.
that would be because of the fumes and the.
Yeah, products made from extracted or raw materials, rather than in light manufacturing. Light manufacturing generally includes processing and fabrication of finished products predominantly from previously prepared materials. So again, the leather shop would get big chunks of leather in and they would just cut them in strips and make belts. So this would kind of heavy would be sort of like an I2 and then light would be an I1. Yeah.
But they're proposed to be allowed in the A1 and the A2 also.
Yes, A1 and A2 also.
I think the A1 is proposed to be light manufacturing only.
Mm-hmm.
That's what is being proposed. That can be changed if you want it changed.
I think light in A1 is appropriate myself.
And then the A2 is light and heavy.
And we have both of those types of operations in the A2 already.
Correct.
Could we do them in both, A1 and A2?
Well, I guess you have to look at it this way, is the A1, the predominant thing was to preserve agricultural land for some agriculture. When you're allowed to do industrial type practices, it drives the land to a price that is not farmable. So I guess that kind of goes in hand. It's been 8 years ago, I had an Amish fellow call me for a land auction, just coming up for 40 acres. He wanted to farm. He said, "What am I buying?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "What can I do there?" I said, "Well, at the current UDO, you could do whatever you wanted. Put a housing addition in, put manufacturing." He just wanted to buy a piece of agricultural land that was going to stay agricultural, and that's what we wanted to bid against. So I guess that's throws a different thing, because when you can do whatever you want with something, the price will be higher, and it will run farming out of the county, in my opinion, over time. If we have a lot of Amish farmers too that still farm, that would like to keep farming, but how can they afford to do it when they're paying manufacturing land prices? I guess that's permitted there. So that's a question I guess we need to talk about as well.
Yeah, all this is just proposals.
Mm-hmm.
It's open for discussion.
So do we want to allow manufacturing in the A1 zone?
Heavy manufacturing, light manufacturing is supposed to be permitted. It's on that table,
I see that, and so it's heavy on the table.
on the A2 table.
I'm looking at the A1 table. I'm looking under A1 on the top. Oh, that table. Let me see, what table am I on? That one it has permitted.
Okay.
Under industrial uses. So we would take the heavy off of there.
Or add it to the other one, it's up to you guys.
I'm confused at what you're removing.
Well, do we want heavy manufacturing in an A1 zone? Do we want light manufacturing in an A1 zone? Or do we want to keep that in A2 and industrial? And some of the B zones can also have.
And add heavy manufacturing marked as permitted use in the one zoning district.
We're having an issue with that. Is that what we're saying?
That's the discussion right now, yeah.
Because it wasn't listed in the other table, it was only light. for A1. So, but then the table up here.
Counters listed that lights allowed.
It's counterintuitive. So we got to figure out
Which way we want it.
Choose on light. Right. But if you go to this table, it's a typo. That's
Gotcha.
both. So the tables just contradict each other and it's confusing.
Thank you.
So we're just trying to figure out whether we allow heavy manufacturing in A1.
Heavy and light both, I would think. In an A1, if we're trying to protect the ag ground.
So you're allowing it? Is that what you're saying?
Whether we should or not allow it.
I thought you threw out a suggestion.
Well, I think my suggestion would be not to allow it, but
That's my suggestion.
So So the suggestion is not to allow heavy manufacturing in the A1. Light manufacturing is permitted in the A1, whereas light and heavy both will be permitted in the A2, and if both of those will be in the industrial zones also.
Yes.
So we're gonna let light be in an A1.
So no finishing shops on the east side of the county.
Okay.
That's what we're saying.
That would be what we were saying, yes. That would be what that's one option, yes. That's one option.
There's already there.
What's that?
There's some there already.
These
Yeah,
are pre-existing non-conforming, so you don't know, what's there is there.
Right.
We're not changing that, we're changing what was allowed to go on.
From here.
Yeah.
Well, we can leave as Robbie suggested, the light manufacturing permitted in the A1 zone and eliminate the heavy manufacturing in the A1
But a
zone.
finishing shop would be a heavy manufacturing, would it not?
No,
Yep.
That's the tough part.
that's
It's
tough part.
the fine line to draw of what's light, what's.
Because of the
there's some-
chemicals.
There's some right in the middle there, kind of going, fall in the middle, so.
What do you think, Tyler? You live out in the ag zone, A1 zone? I think yours is A1.
Well, let's keep in mind that the minimum subdivision for a lot in the A1 zone is 20 acres. So if you were to have any light manufacturing, it would probably be on 20 acres unless the parcel is already existing.
Get a one-time split of up to 5.
Oh, yes. There's a lot to think about.
Any comment on that from you guys?
Please.
Do you want
Sure.
to give your name and address and talk to the podium, please?
My name is Joe Urbanski. I'm the president of Farmer State Bank. And consistent with these discussions and a number of discussions I've been involved in the last week or so, I think the business community is just seeing a need to kind of move slowly, to think about everything that is proposed and how it would impact what happens in the future, and to give time to think about, had those proposals existed previously, what would that look like? What would not exist today? What businesses would have never been started? How would our community be impacted? Our community, I've been now at Farmer State Bank for close to 2 decades. And during that period of time, LaGrange County has experienced pretty tremendous economic success. And when you compare us to other counties in the state of Indiana, and also when you compare us to rural communities across the entire country, there's something that's happened here that's pretty unique. And it hasn't happened by accident. There's been great leadership in this community that has supported the growth and success of businesses, the encouragement of new businesses to start. And we can definitely see that all of this discussion is important. There's a need for rules, there's a need for balance, there's a need for infrastructure consideration. And the people that I've been in discussions with here in the last week or so, everybody is supportive of that balance. And so that's encouraging. I think there's a lot of desire to collaborate and to really think about the long term, really think about whether we need to implement ideas that will help improve roads and improve the opportunity for safety. And we know these concepts are challenging. They're not easy answers, and they are likely going to take a long time to think through. But I guess that's what I'm here to encourage, to slow this process down, to table some of these proposals so that there can be that collaboration throughout the community. And Farmer State Bank is very glad to be involved. We don't just, represent the business community. We do also represent the people and consumers in general. And I know everybody here is interested in continuing to see the success that this community has enjoyed, and the leadership that has been demonstrated in this community for a long period of time makes me believe that even though some of these challenges are big, that this group and others in the community can overcome that. So I see the great discussion that's happening here, and everybody sees the pushes and the pulls. And if you do this, it impacts this. So I think that is the message that I'm hearing the most amongst the businesses we work with, just to slow down a little bit and spend more time thinking about looking at the data and safety and our roads and how these proposals would impact everything. So that's what I'd like to say this evening. Appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Let me say one thing real quick. With regards to the heavy industrial use in the A1 zoning, thankfully, if you study the limitations for industrial type development within the UDO, there are a lot of things that come into play to soften the existence of those types of businesses in rural areas, whether it's A2 or A1. One of the biggest factors that comes into play in the current UDO is that an A1 zoned parcel would only permit up to 30% coverage. Now, acknowledging those are larger parcels, rather than wholesale excluding a potentially viable beneficial use that could apply to, and this is where potential research could come into play, out of the land that's zoned A1, 100% of it is not necessarily viable for farming necessarily. So there are areas that if a development plan was brought in or something like that, rather than seeing any heavy industrial development in A1 zoning would automatically remove farmland, perhaps there could be a process within the UDO to help provide some protection for farmland while still allowing a use that could be viable on parcels that are not ideal for farming. As well as because of higher acreages, potentially, another limitation could be introduced for both rural zonings, that the coverage limit is based on acreage, correct? But perhaps there is a maximum square footage of coverage for a parcel. So if you have a 3-acre parcel or you have a 30-acre parcel, the 30% or the 40% for the A2 zoning is a much larger area, right? But if data could be collected, what is the range of sizes of developments that we're seeing existing or needing to continue to grow, there could be a cap on the total impervious coverages rather than building size or employee size. And that could potentially, a combination of those things could potentially still protect ideal farmland while at the same time allowing some of those uses in areas that just make sense for something else. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Do I need to sign this over here? Wonderful. Hello there. My name is James Carmichael. Some of these folks in here have known me for over 20 years. I worked at Redmond. I worked at S.E. Johnson Stoneco. A lot of these folks in here right now have some genuine concerns. One of the significant ones I have right now is that, as the surveyor dude politely stated, humbly request on behalf of the crowd that is here right now that you table this opportunity until further research is done to statistically analyze what is the true impact of shifting a discussion of, let's say, my favorite discussion is when you take a finishing shop and you classify it as heavy. For some of us old timers in here, Group Deco International was one of the largest manufacturers in this area. They established in the rural communities little tiny shops that set the path that everybody in this room has tried to do. Have a business in the backyard so the family members can have a job going forward. You witnessed today, you approved how many? 5, 6 of layout for family members to establish a business in their backyard. These folks rely upon a culture of horses, bicycles to get around. It is a beneficial thing for one to give gift to their family members to have a business opportunity in their backyard where they don't have to risk trying to ride a bicycle at 5 a.m. in the morning when people are trying to go to a trailer factory at 60, 70 miles an hour and the cops aren't even patrolling. You talk about safety. I have yet to see a cop sit along ice going anywhere near the trailer factories at 5 a.m. in the morning. I've seen many of bicycles getting run over almost. And some of you are just sitting here just grinning and smiling and saying, you know, he might be right, he might be wrong. I really don't care. I just have my opinion just like you have yours. However, I'm going to hand this to legal counsel for your review, if he's willing to accept that at this meeting. The point is, the federal government hasn't established what is or shall be any kind of light or heavy. Who establishes whether or not it's light or heavy is IDEM. You've said it before in this meeting. Who established whether or not they have something or not? Did you get your permit? Do you have a bag house? If you have a bag house, you make noise. You make noise, you're heavy, based upon your current definition. I wish that you go ahead and scrap that, table it until you do some more research on what the definition of light or heavy truly is. Because I've worked in a heavy steel mill. Steel mill wanted to come here right now tomorrow. Would this board approve putting a steel mill in right now in its backyard?
In the right zoning, absolutely.
Agree.
You bet your ass.
How about east of 9 or right on 9?
We've got I zones east of 9.
Okay. Would you rezone 250 acres on right there off of 9 for an industrial plant?
On 20?
No, State Route 9, south of 20.
Yeah. We just rezoned one north of Wolcottville. So JB.
I'm not asking for explanations. I'm just giving my opinion that I have doubts in this current board on whether or not the staffing and necessary to make sure they're making the right decisions is occurring.
I'm going to talk to you about this a little bit.
Okay.
The UDO that we developed is this county as a whole has been very deficient on properly zoning in the past. And one of the biggest things with the new UDO is trying to zone parcels properly. We came out with an entirely new zoning map. We created an entirely new zone to support small business, which is the A2 zone. And we are actively trying to rezone the county as we see fit. You cannot rezone how many square miles, Robbie? 144? The problem is we can't rezone all of it properly in one sitting. This is a growing thing where we need to continuously rezone the county. We're severely deficient on I-zone. We have implemented a lot in the last couple of years with this new UDO. Just west of 200 East, there's 2 new businesses going in a brand new I-zone. And we're trying to create more of these zones on our highways. 700 South has got some new I-zones in it. 9 has got new I-zones in it. 20 has got new I-zones in it. Just east of the Trans-Canada Pipeline, new I-zone on 20. We're really trying to create new zones for these businesses so that we can have proper places for all of these businesses, whether they're small or large. And if a steel mill wanted to come to LaGrange County, I'm sure this board would do everything they could do to make it happen. We've got I-zoning laying vacant on a railroad in South Milford. That'd be great for a steel mill.
Surrounded by A2 zoning.
We're not,
Familiar.
It is A1.
That's great. Where's all the workforce at? The question is right now, I've been through this before on a couple of occasions on land development, and I'm just going to quote one piece here. When I see small communities start to develop industrial parks, I see what I call a landlord bridge, where selected individuals are cornering the market reference industrial parks. I caution the board here on identifying and pre-identifying industrial park development locations. There's been many of communities that decided to go on and take a trip on their own to establish their own industrial park at the expense of the taxpayers and everybody around them. I believe you're on the right path, as you said, sir, Mr. Tyler Young. I agree you're on the right path, that you are selectively picking where companies are wanting to come into. Don't pick the ones in which want to establish an industrial park and try to do a full development for everybody. Pick the ones and the businesses that are strong enough to grow. And unless you continue on the path on allowing these people in here to develop their small businesses, little businesses, mom and pop, and allow the sons and daughters to execute that going forward on developing their business practices. And I appreciate the fact that the Farmer State Bank is here to show support and show positive influence on the board. But urban regional planning, are you calling the UDO definition an urban regional planning?
Unified Development Ordinance.
What's the definition of that compared to an urban regional plan? On a community-based activity?
Can't answer that. I don't know.
I'll defer to council.
I don't know what an urban regional plan would be. We have a plan for the county. I mean, but we paid, I don't know how much for our new plan. Yeah, so we have a plan. We have a new UDO. Now we're fine tuning things. And again, this isn't anything that's going to the commissioner tonight. These are just initial
We're
discussions.
just giving feedback to table it. That's what we're asking. That's all I
Well, but
have.
this isn't going anywhere. The next step would be a public hearing. This isn't heading to the
You
commissioners
might
for
need a
approval
bigger
next
room
week.
for that. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Young. I agree with you, what you've done. Thank you.
well, it's not what I've done. It's what this whole board and this whole community's done. This whole community's been part of this entire process for over a 2-year period. And we are this UDO has been in place for almost a year, almost 1 year. And the object, the way we designed it was so that it could be molded and crafted to what the community and the county need. And that's, as we take these steps forward, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do the right thing. That's why we created a new zone that we're small.
Just relook what the definition of light and heavy manufacturing is.
Let me ask you a question. It's
Sir.
a 50-person factory, a mom and pop operation?
At Group Deco, it was.
I'm not talking about the Group Deco. I'm
Because
talking
they
about
ran
out in the
2
middle of the
shifts.
country.
They ran 2 shifts, and it was one of the first manufacturing facilities located down in Rome City, Indiana. Group Deco International had
That's
a
a
similar
town
discussion.
with
It was a
services,
town. It was right on the south end of town. and
with
it's that town.
services.
No, it did not have services. It had septic system and a well.
How big was it?
And then J.O. Maury location there on 700 South, straight east next to the sawmill.
Mhm.
Sawmills were not included, but they make noise. That noise will travel. My question is on J.O. Maury location. That location there was on septic and well. That used to be an old Group Deco International site.
Okay,
Milford had one also.
Milford. Oh, South Milford?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So very familiar with this. Only thing I'm asking is just.
And did you come to any of the meetings we had?
Actually, I had the opportunity of watching a couple of them from somebody who saw a video on it, but I was deployed at the time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you for your time.
Anybody else?
out of curiosity, I'm really happy everybody's here tonight. And thank you for your patience, for sticking around and hearing. We've got a few of these things we're discussing. By a show of hands, I would like to see who all is here in concern for the construction trades. So if you're here for the construction trades and what we're talking about with that, please raise your hand. Is that about a quarter of the crowd? What about the animal feeding operations? Is there somebody here for something other than that? Can you tell me, sir, in the center and the back? No, the guy standing up with the red beard.
You want to come up to the front, sir, so we can hear you? And
yeah,
sorry to call you out.
I just want to know why everybody's here.
Good question.
My name is Martin Gingrich. And so we received a notice for what was going on tonight. We have a fertilizer and feed manufacturing facility on State Road 5. So we just came and I'm with Basic Ag. And we really enjoyed working with the board, with you guys. We have a plan proposed to do an expansion at some point. So I appreciate a little bit of what I'm hearing about protecting farmland and continuing to reevaluate and seeing that as a value to our community beyond just putting up businesses. At the same time, I really appreciate what came up, the value that we have on small businesses and what that's done for the community. So we just came to see what was spoken and listen in and yeah.
Okay. Maybe we should continue with what we're talking about. And if we get to the end and we get to something that we haven't covered and somebody wants to say something, open that up. How do you think we should move forward?
Fine. Well, we have the manufacturing heavy, manufacturing light. Sounds like we need to look into that a little bit more extensively. I'm not sure where we get that data from, but we'll try and figure that out. Maybe the EDC or the chamber can help us out with that a little bit.
Oh, another speaker.
Oh, no. Yes, Sherry, you may.
Okay, thanks. So I'm Sherry
If-
Johnson with the LaGrange County Economic Development Corporation. I've been in some of these conversations leading up to this meeting and asked for some data to present to you, and we did not have time to gather that data before this meeting. So I've reached out. We have a data analyst that we're part of in our regional partnership. So we did have a meeting with him earlier this week. Paul and Howard were both on that call. We kind of got a little bit of a roadblock. So we're reaching out to the county assessor and try to figure out things. So our office would be very happy to help you put some data together to support these businesses throughout the county. Because as I always say, I hope that we're always open for business here in LaGrange County. So however our office can help, we'd be happy to do that.
Get us some money for roads.
We'll put that later.
There is.
Well, it's got to be before we put the business in.
Oh.
There's road improvements. Really, one comes for the other, in my opinion.
There was some discussion about that at our meeting that we had last Thursday.
I hope that you see though all of the people in the room that are willing to have the conversation though too. So at some point, I think we just need to really have more conversations on how we move things forward together too, not separately too. So that's just my opinion and how I think we need to work together constantly and communicate.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to take Tyler's suggestion. We're going to go to industrial use standards next. Again, we'll have to look at the heavy and the light again. Something that we have proposed would be for the heavy and light, and you can take over. You want to, Robbie, or I can read along.
This is what you guys proposed, so you have to help for it. You know, the ones where you propose the square footage and the number of employees.
Yes, and during our meeting the other day, it was kind of decided that number of employees was very distinct to the, manufacturing being done. So then we would come down to the sizes. And I tried to reach out to get a little bit, but those sizes could come from further research, I suppose. Is that a possibility?
I think,
Yes.
I think the size can be dependent upon light versus heavy as well. Seeing how you can have a large facility with a very low impact and vice versa.
Yep. Although there was a proposal at the meeting, which we need to follow up on with another meeting, I suppose, that there be taxes levied for road improvement on the businesses throughout the county. And that was from an Amish individual who proposed that. So that was not one of the non-Amish folks that was there. So
And it seems to be that a lot of these issues are arising from the state of the roads. Do we need to look into impact fees further and what that can generate for the county to make some of these improvements and support some of these businesses out in the country? Is there research that needs to be done into that so we know, and how do we go about getting that study done? And
Sherry has that comment.
I believe, yes, go ahead.
So we manage the comprehensive plan out of our office, and that is one of the items in the comprehensive plan to talk about impact fees. And we've started some conversations around that, and we do need to figure out what kind of study needs to be done and how we can do that. Like, there's just very initial talk of it, but I think there's an interest, and I think that there would be interest of these businesses out in the rural communities with some impact fees to be willing to be a part of that conversation, if they can still have their businesses close to home and still have. So Emily, that manages our comprehensive plan, will be back in the office from her leave next week. So that's going to be a top priority to put a task force together to start talking about that. And Robbie's been part of that conversation as well. So we'll figure out how to get a study and how to figure it out and get that in process. So if any of you like to serve on the task force, or all of you, that'd be great too. I'll sign you up.
And when I said taxes, that was the term used at the meeting, but it really is an impact fee. Yes. Correct, Paul, don't you think?
Yes.
Yes.
And another
Paul was there too at the meeting that we had.
study that should be done, Sherry, I think, is on our square footage. Like, just we need time to go through that. And is it 24,000 in heavy? Is it 36,000? Is it, what is it, 100? So we can't just pull a number out of the air. I think a study has to be done to help with that.
Another thing to keep in mind as we look at these industrial use standards, these limitations proposed limitations for heavy manufacturing, light manufacturing are only in the A1 and A2 zones. If these industries, manufacturing industries, are in an I zone, there is no limit. So that's another thing we need to look forward to as a county, is try and create more of these I zones. It doesn't have to be an industrial park, but it can be an I zone where these businesses can, grow to the size that they want and need to grow to. And on some of our better county roads, I mean, we all know which roads are better in the county and which ones you can't drive a car or buggy down without bouncing out of your seat. So that's another part of the reason why we need to continue to rezone the county as it is. Just because we drew a line up and down 9, the west side's A2 and the east side's A1, doesn't mean there's not A2 zoning that should be rezoned on the east side, and there's not A1 that should be rezoned on the west side. That's just how it was the fastest and easiest way to do it. And we need to continue to update that map, not just with the A1 and the A2, but with the I's and the B's in the urbans and all of the living zones, the residential zones that continuously need to be updated as well.
I think everybody needs to keep in mind the UDO. I wasn't here when it was started. But like any other document, the county changes, so the document has to change. So therefore, it's a living, breathing document. And there's always, just like the Constitution, it keeps changing. There's amendments to it all the time. And that's the same thing with this UDO. And that's why we're sitting here, that we're not making a decision, we're discussing. So just keep that in mind.
So why don't we go ahead, Robbie, and move to the AFO situation? Because I'm sure there's some folks here concerned with that.
So the initial proposal put out for AFO had to do with the suggested an acreage requirement for AFOs, increase the setbacks. That was being proposed. It was recommended that we keep the AFO setbacks and no acreage requirement that was being proposed, and just do a distance between barns.
And who proposed, does,
We had a meeting last week, and there was someone there who suggested that we just do a distance between barns.
I did have a meeting with Martin from Soil and Water the other day. He favors distance between barns as well. He favored, though, a half mile rather than 1,500 feet, which is 40, something like that, instead of 1,500. But it would be in somewhere in that range, I would think. Also, he is pretty adamant about getting rid of the owner's agreement as well at the bottom that you have marked out.
Yeah, that was the other thing that was
Yes.
suggested.
Now, that would not apply to going from an AFO to a CFO, correct? They would be able to put their barn
Correct.
on there, yes. Okay.
This would be new barns.
Yes. So I know we have some people from the poultry industry here this evening, so if anybody wants to step up and give us some feedback on that.
Sometimes there's not a want, but a need. So my name's Drew Fry. I'm from Culver Duck. And I really appreciate the opportunity to talk here tonight. I was heavily involved with the last couple of years putting the current ordinance together. And I just really appreciate the board working. You have a unique community here with the Amish community and with the lake and the opportunities to bring people in for that. So that it's unique in the state. And I think you walked the line and did a really good job. So I'm just here tonight to say, we just got it done last year. And what changed, what prompted the changes that are being recommended? What are the expectations? And I totally understand things change. We need to constantly change with it. I just don't think we've given enough time to work through it. Now I'm with the poultry company, so I have my own selfish reasons for it, but you're also looking at a lot of people that want to stay on the farm. And it's a symbiotic relationship. We benefit, they can stay on the farm. That's why this community is so great. Granted, challenges have arose and we need to address some of those challenges. I just don't know if we do it through this venue. But we're open to discuss, and I'm sure we'll have more discussions in the future.
Density has been brought up.
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking at a way to manage density.
Okay. Well, and
we're
that's,
along with density comes avian bird flu.
right. Avian bird flu. There are 52 million birds last year. In this area, there was 1 million. But as far as density, there's a density of barns because we have smaller family units, whereas other areas may have less barns. It's a lot of birds. So it's a difference between large CAFOs and individual family farms. And what happened here this past fall was devastating. It was devastating to sit down with people and say, I'm sorry this had to happen, but this is the only course of action is to take these out. You're not going to control avian influenza through zoning.
Well, no, you're not. And you're not, it's a, you know, it's a multifactorial. It's
Mhm.
biosecurity, it's density, it's many, many factors.
Right,
Okay?
right,
And we're
I
just, you
agree.
know, one mutation. I have a lot of virology in my background, and there's we're one mutation away from something bad. Okay?
It might be two.
No, okay, we'll see about that. But anyway, you know, this has been brought up to us from higher up, so we're trying to act on it.
No, and that's fine. I just want to keep the conversation open. In the past 5 years, we've dealt a lot with things that have happened in our community. And it's not always scientific based, the reaction to it. And then we go to the next step. Hey, if this is good, then this is even better. And we start getting way off from what science would say. So again, I think somebody talked about science, doing research. I'm all for that. I just don't want to say, hey, this sounds good. This is even better. Let's just keep pushing. And then all of a sudden you're affecting a lot of people's livelihood. But again, you have to do what you have to do. I'm just kind of speaking up for our business. I know Miller Poultry's here. There's a number. Natural Family Farms, Maple Leaf.
Herbricks is here.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies here, but those companies are only here because of the community, and it's created a problem. It's a great problem. People have a livelihood because of us, but there definitely are things we need to work through.
And I think the integrators need to be more aware of manure management as well. That's not
Right.
been.
And some of those discussions we had over the past 2 years were about the manure management and appropriate manure management. What is appropriate? Are we going to say, hey, this is good? Item says this is good, but this is better. What do you look for when you say runoff or concerns? You know, we're talking about roofs over manure storage areas. That might be a great idea, but if there's no runoff already, then you're just adding to the cost of a farm.
Drew, got a question. Do you have a suggestion on in-between barns or setbacks?
Well, I think those are great questions. I personally, we want at least a quarter mile. And we are looking at other areas. I mean, the last thing we want to do is to turn the community against the poultry industry. That's the last thing we want. We want to work with the community. If it feels like more restrictions are needed, we're just going to move out, which is okay. But we want to work with the community. We want to stay on the good side of community. And we just know we have a great resource, a great community to work with. And we're very thankful for it. We're very thankful for LaGrange County, for Elkhart County. We're just fortunate. So we do want to work with you in walking through this. I'm just stating my personal thoughts. It's my opinion. They're not always right, but they're pretty good. But yeah, I'll step away.
I got a question before you step away, sir. Do you know how much you've invested in LaGrange County from Culver Duck as a business?
I'm going to guess we have at least 40 farms.
How much investment is that on your behalf?
Oh, let's say we have an average of 6,000 birds in each farm. That's going to be $100,000 every 4 weeks, roughly coming through those farms.
So how much is that total in a year's time, or?
Well, it's half our business, a third, 2/3 of our business.
Do you have a number?
Let's say $30 million.
Do you know how much you've invested in county infrastructure improvements for LaGrange?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, just a question.
Yeah, I'm sure there's taxes being paid on those farms, but
It goes towards infrastructure. That's just a question.
yeah, I don't know.
I think got set up.
That's okay.
That was just a question.
I'm a farmer.
Yeah.
I'm not
just so you know, I'm not anti-AFO or anti-business, but as a county, we have to look at improving the infrastructure for all this business and how are we going to finance it? That's the biggest question. So if we have partners that help us to get to where we need to go infrastructure-wise, then development can keep on going. But without that, infrastructure improvement, investment in it, we're kind of at a, how much do you go? These roads are taking a beating and they need major capital improvements and we don't have any funds to do them. So what do we do? That's the question I guess I have for you. If you have a response, not tonight, but sometime.
Good. I don't have a response tonight.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Becky Yonishkan. I'm the president of the Indiana State Poultry Association. Really appreciate everybody who's come out for this conversation tonight and the opportunity to talk with you. I know I think this fall, we started talking about this again and kind of expressed some frustration, and Drew shared it, that we've been very active in here over the past few years as you've developed the UDO, and a bit frustrated we're back here and having this conversation again. So can you help me understand, and I've heard a few things, but what is driving your concerns? I've heard density, manure, I think is potentially a concern. We're trying to figure out what can we do, what can we potentially offer that helps you achieve what you're trying to achieve?
I'll mention it again, improve the infrastructure. In my opinion, this is me as a board member, to
Okay.
accommodate such development. A lot of these AFOs, a lot of the feed's delivered on a big truck, semi, a lot of intersections, a lot of our roads were never designed to handle that much traffic repetitively. So if we have the infrastructure to access these places, that's once my behalf, because
Okay.
I drive on the road. We all share the roads.
Right.
Obviously, there's always some water quality concerns or bird flu stuff, but that's outside my expertise. The roads is my concern for public safety and traveling, riding bikes, riding buggies, driving your car, and having enough room, making turns safely without running somebody off the road. I guess that's our concerns.
So for
Mine.
you, the density issue is more related to the road, like more farms closer together,
AFOs,
more.
that's with the factories, with small businesses. That's
Okay.
when you drive on the side of the county on a busy day, in certain places, the roads are terrible and they're carrying a ton of traffic.
Mhm.
And as a public official who has to answer to the public, they want to know, what are you going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? That's why we're here.
Okay.
So
I will also say that we have had some feedback from one of the commissioners who thought
Okay.
there was some density issues
Mhm.
because there are now, I don't know, 30 barns around his house. So, you know, 23 barns around his house. That's a lot of barns. It's a lot of stink. It's a lot of odor. It's a lot of traffic.
Okay.
When you want to live in the country and you keep adding to the number without fixing the infrastructure. And you know, there are effects on everybody, even though it's zoned at A2, which is an ag zone. Okay. So we are responding to that as well.
Okay.
As a plan commission.
Yeah.
Whether we should be or not is another story, but we are. So, the quarter mile is 1,320 feet. If my division is correct, which is not far off from 1,500, way off from a half mile. But anyway, go ahead.
So switching gears a little bit, we had heard from Robbie and there was a letter that was sent out pretty broadly, I believe. We really talked about concerns about manure and manure runoff from smaller size. So the confined feeding operations or CAFO sized confined feeding operations have their item approvals. They've got manure controls, but concern about runoff from manures from animal feeding operations.
Smaller ones, yes.
Yeah.
Which are unregulated.
Which are not required to have an item permit.
Correct.
They're still subject to, they're not supposed to have manure running off of them, right?
Well, nobody should, but yeah,
Right.
go ahead.
So I've been working with Indiana Pork and one of the representatives at the State House, and we have language, and I have it written here, that we're proposing to have entered into the Office of the Indiana State Chemist, Right now, they're required to take all their rules and move them into statute. And so as they're doing that, it's a lot of cleanup, but it's an opportunity to make some changes. And so we have proposed that we add to the definition of staging. Right now, Office of Indiana State Chemist goes out, if someone has staged manure in a field, then they're required to berm it. If they stage it too long, or they haven't staged it and bermed it appropriately, or covered it, done a number of different things, the Office of Indiana State Chemist can, come out and encourage them. They have the authority to require them to do something with it, but they don't have kind of the authority to manage staged manure on an animal feeding operation. And so the statutory language that we're proposing would add the placement of what's called placement of fertilizer material at production areas of animal feeding operations and we would limit it to poultry, cattle, dairy, swine, I think it was goats and sheep. So in the hopes, we can kind of add that in, that gives a good, statewide, it's the same thing in every county. It would be complaint based, if people observed staging at an animal feeding operation that they believe is causing manure runoff issues, the Office of Indiana State Chemist could respond to that. So I wanted to share that with you, that now it's early in the legislative session. I can't promise you that's going to go the whole way through, but session should end of February. So we would have an answer for you, if not at your February meeting, at your March meeting. I offer that as, that's one of the requirements, or one of the suggestions has been covered manure storage. And I think we would argue that there are probably a number of different ways you can achieve reduction of any runoff from manure. Covering it is one, but berming, vegetative strips, there's some other options there. So, wanted to share that with you. And then there are lots of different tools that we have. If you're going to continue to push on whether it's increased setbacks, minimum lot size, that sort of thing to achieve a less density, we really want to make sure that the tools that you choose really achieve what you want to achieve. And I think, I'm not sure what I see right now, if that achieves what you're trying to get at or not.
Well, we had a meeting with, what's the group called? The LCUC, the LaGrange County Unifying Committee.
Okay.
And some other folks. And the suggestion was that the setbacks that we are proposing would not take care of any of the density situations. It would be more of a distance between barn situations. And so we've heard from the Culver Duck people, and now we're hearing from you.
Yeah. I have concern that separation between barns, which, yes, would fundamentally get to density, but the policing of that, and, people change use of barns and just kind of what that does. And so I'm not sure exactly which set of tools here really works to achieve that. I do have concern that that's separation between, and I'm assuming it's all, we're not just talking poultry, right? So we're talking all animal production barns that you would have to have. An existing barn would have, any new barn introduced would have to be that distance away. Is somebody going to be going out there and looking in those barns and seeing what animals you have where? Like, I just think that's going to be a
AFO
difficult
goes
thing.
through a process in the county.
Right. But that's kind of a one-time, when you're starting. I don't know if there's a routine checking on that. But that's a lot of evaluation in terms of who's doing what in what barn and how far are they from each other. And I'm just not sure how enforceable that is.
And do you have some kind of a magic wand that you can get the the state chemist to respond to complaints?
We've been having those conversations. We're sharing with them the kind of feedback that we're getting, and we don't want that to be how we are seen, right? We have our thought is we're hopeful that we're having that occasional bad actor and that that's not representative of all of our farms.
Well, it's not representative, it's just a few, but
But you need it, so
we have somebody
it's-
who's been turned in several times on a slope about like this, that goes
Yes.
into a culvert, that goes into a stream, that goes into the largest undeveloped man-made lake, natural lake in Indiana called Olin. Okay, and he will not quit doing that. We've called the state chemist, I believe, 6 times now.
And is he an animal feeding operation?
No, it's a
Is it horses?
Amish gentleman with lots of horses. Lots of horses. I don't know, 10, 12, something like that.
If there's manure contamination of waters of the state, then IDEM will come out. IDEM will.
We don't have
come
much
out.
luck with IDEM either, so just to let you know.
What's that?
We don't have much luck with IDEM either.
Well, yeah, I feel like we've heard that before.
Mhm.
Happy to, yeah, we don't want that happening. That's no good for any of us.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, happy to push that. So, all right, thank you.
Anybody else? One more. Okay, go ahead.
Jeff Burbank, Purdue Extension. I wanted to address the HP AI situation. I don't believe that density limitations would have had changed anything that had occurred to us since October. And the state veterinarian's office, or BOA, pretty much agrees with that statement too. Back on, we were at a situation there where we were having 4 or 5 farms that were declared quarantined a day for a while there, back in October and first part of November, and it was kind of scary. On November the 10th, I had a call from BOA, and they asked me, how could we get the poultry folks to limit the traffic on their farm? Because what was happening was the initial infestation, that's not the right word I'm looking for. The initial virus came in on wild birds and got in. And then it began to spread based on traffic from these farms. So things like funerals, church services, just people visiting other people was spreading it. They know that because they did DNA confirmation. And it was spreading it. So basically, in one circumstance, there was a farm that was quarantined, and a few days later, they held a social event at the farm, and so they know that it spread that way. Obviously, asking people to not have church or social functions at their farm is a big deal. And when I talked to several people in this room about how do we word this? How do we put this out there? And by November 15th, we pretty much had the wording put in there because we didn't want to tell people you can't have church. That was important. Anyway, by the 18th, that unified committee that you mentioned had approved the language and decided that they'd send out that information. And beside sending it out through the In the Loop email fax thing that they've got, we also put it in the newspaper, and I think a lot of the integrators also sent that letter out to their folks too. So by the 1st of December, the numbers started dropping rapidly about the transfer from one farm to the next. It made a huge difference to ask people to do that. Last week, just this last Thursday, I got a call from BOA, and they asked me, how do we get a hold of the unified committee? We want to thank them. So that's how important it is to them. That made the difference, is that everybody adopted that practice. It made a difference, and we can go that. So I really think we need to look at, when I hear the word density and HPAI in the same sentence, that worries me. It's not science-based. That wouldn't have changed a thing. It was people moving it from one place to the other.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks.
Anything else?
Lynn.
What?
Can I talk just a minute?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Just a minute.
Just a minute, though. Okay, who are you?
I'm Devon Yoder.
Okay.
I was a former player, lived in this county, LaGrange County, and now I live in Elkhart County. One reason is I kind of got pushed out of this county, and I'll kind of explain why. I grew up a farm kid. I live on 100 South with my dad, and I used to ride my bicycle from my dad's place west of county line on a gravel road with grass on it. So I was born in 1991. So that gives you an idea. I'm pretty young for most of you that are here. So, so to give you an
Thank
idea,
you.
to give you an idea of how fast this county has grown and things have changed. I grew up a farm kid. My dad farmed over 1,000 acres. When I was a young kid, I grew up on tractors. As time has moved forward, that has all got chopped up and is either housing, business, you name it. So all of the stuff you guys are talking about here at the county meeting, I understand at one point in time, that was a great thing to keep the farm in the community. I feel it's a little past that stage, especially on the west side of the county. There is building, there's no farm coming back. My dad's farm is probably the largest one west of State Road 9 left. So just saying, I'm a former farm kid that got pushed into construction. So now we're Sunnybrook Excavating. We own Sunnybrook Excavating, and we have made a business out of this community growing, whether that be chicken barns, residential or commercial. It has made a business for me. I transitioned into that, and I employ 19 people. So if you stop and look, if we would have continued farming, how many employees would we have? Let's say we would have grown and we would farm 4,000 acres on the west side of the county. Nowadays, what does that take? 4 employees? 5? Any of you guys have an idea?
7.
7? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Look at, we are doubling the amount of people for a job because the county has grown. I just feel like where we are at, I'm not sure if there's by putting regulations on and trying to slow it down is a great thing. Infrastructure, I understand. I run dump trucks. We have a bunch of them. I guess the only thing I see as a construction guy, why are there no contracts coming our way for infrastructure? Why is there not roads going out for bid to build bigger? What? Yeah, I understand. I live in the next county now because I moved over the
Well, they
line.
have a lot more.
Yep. So I just feel like rather than we trying to slow this community down, why not let it grow?
I don't know that we're trying to slow it down. We're just trying to manage the expansion to keep it at a pace. I'm pretty good at this stuff. We're trying to, I've been well trained. Manage the expansion so that the infrastructure can keep up with the expansion.
That's what I'm saying.
See, I told you I was pretty good at this.
Yeah. And you're talking to somebody that could barely go through high school, so your words are not coming out very well, but
That's all right.
You know what I'm saying? I think there's people.
And your name is what again?
Devon Yoder. So I think there's businesses in this community, in this county, or maybe they got pushed over the line a mile that would be really willing to come back and build your infrastructure. And whatever that takes.
We have to accommodate the development. And that's where we're struggling with a $5.6 million highway budget that covers the fuel, the labor, everything. And you wonder why there's no highway. We've done some work with roads and we've used major moves money, which is going to be gone very soon at this pace. So it'll all be gone. So we have to figure out if we're going to continue to develop like you want us to develop and everybody else, that's great. We need ideas or funding to able to accommodate that development in a safe manner. I think the business owners want it. I think the residents would like it. I would like it driving around these roads. So that's the challenge and growth is on our end. We just can't get more money very easily because we're limited with wheel tax, gas tax, what's so not. So we have to have a mechanism to be able to accommodate that development. And we are open to ideas. If you guys have a master plan or idea that's going to fix this, we want to hear it. You know, I understand the struggles of slowing down development. We need ideas to accommodate that development if you want it to continue, like you say so.
Yeah. And I guess just my closing thing is you have to remember, I'm 34 years old now. I got pushed out of the farming industry, which I would love to be in, and I've worked awful hard to try to stay there, but I got pushed into the commercial excavation contractor world. And there's a lot of us that got pushed into this, my brother included. So just remember, there's a lot of us young guys out there working, and now we are here. I just feels like I read kind of what came out. It just felt like you were trying to hold us back. And it might be my interpretation, but what I'm saying is just be careful. You got a lot of young guys out there wanting to grow, and a lot of businesses I come to for excavation, I never come and say, oh man, I wish it was smaller. It's always, it needs to be bigger. So I just,
Part of it too is trying to accommodate everything in LaGrange County, from the east side to the west side, from all the lakes, from all the Amish, from all the English. There's not so many big, large acre farms out on the west side of the county anymore, but a lot of the grain comes from the east side of the county. So, and a lot of the manure gets hauled over to the east side of the county. So it's trying to find a balance of what works for everybody in the county, from the people on the lake, from the excavators to the people on the farm, and making it all work. And it's part of this unified development ordinance is trying to make everybody mesh and work together so LaGrange County can grow in a planned way, in a smart way, and trying to take the roads into consideration, buildings into consideration, what goes in what zone. And it's just like that unified development ordinance is meant to be adjusted and grown and accommodate the county for a long time. And that's why we're trying to make adjustments. Just like the contractor thing on there was completely left out. That was brought up. We're trying to make a accommodation to fix that because it was just overlooked. A lot of these things have been overlooked. Some of them are just coming up, and it's just trying to go through this process and discussion to find out what's the best fit that we can all work together.
and I just totally agree. I just keep in mind, you have a younger generation coming like us that we would love to see growth and not get held back, because some of our earlier desires got pushed down. And my favorite, I'll be honest, my favorite industry is not excavation, it's farming. That's what I've always wanted to be. And I've tried hard to be a farmer and it has not worked out. So I'm just letting you guys know, I'm not here to hold back where we're at. I'm great for where we're at. But if I had my life goal, I would be a farmer. But I have made amends to be an excavator. So some of us that had to do career change, just keep us in mind that we are here to further the county and whatever that takes to work together. So just an FYI from us younger generation guys.
So Devon, before you step down, I want to let you know that this 35-year-old and that 35-year-old are on this board because we're both farmers and we want to have a future in LaGrange County. So like you, away from your family tonight, we're away from our family tonight because this is important.
Right. Agreed. So yeah. That's just an expression for somebody that couldn't fill out his passion in farming. So
Thank you.
thank you.
I'm going to say something here tonight, folks. Listening to everybody's talk, and I appreciate it very much. I don't think this board is really looking at concerns. I think we're looking more at the future of LaGrange County. You know, what we're doing, we're trying to look ahead the best we can, and that's not easy to do. The one thing I really want to speak about, I've heard highways and roads in here. Part of our problem in this county is we've gone probably 30 years, and the roads really haven't been touched. Not much is done. I was, as a county commissioner, the last 3 years, we've put $5 million in the highway ourselves. It's getting a little thin, the money, but we've dug up $5 million for that alone, and we have a program working. We'll have another $3 million next year. It's very expensive to fix those roads. Robbie, I forget. Do you remember what it is per mile?
No, it's $2 million to do 4.5 miles.
That's what it was. Yeah, I couldn't remember. You know, as you know, prices are going up for everything, and believe me, we are trying to fix these roads, but it's a long road to get there. I don't know how else to say it. So bear with us. we're trying.
For those in the room, can you explain where we can get funding? Where does the funding come for road maintenance? So everyone understands.
Well,
Minnesota.
what?
He said that, I didn't.
Yeah. I wonder. It's a hard question to answer, really,
It's-
Shannon.
It's through
Wheel tax
wheel
and
tax,
grants.
wheel
Wheel
tax,
tax, yeah,
plate
we got
tax,
that.
gas tax, and buggy plates.
License plates. The biggest problem there, I mean, the money comes in, but we're very concerned right now. Council, well, I guess you're going also. A couple of weeks, we're going to Indianapolis for 2 days for legislature. They're taking so much money. We don't know what they're doing. We have no idea what we're going to have for money. That is the honest truth. We really don't. There's so many bills out there, and every time we sit down and listen to them, at the end of the speech, what do they say, Jeff? It's going to change in a few months. So we're really hoping we get some answers down there in a couple of weeks. And that's a very big concern just on the council, and that's a very big concern of the commissioners and council. Is what's the state going to do? Where are we going to get this money? Schools need money. They're pulling money out of the schools right now. It's getting very expensive for the county. We don't want to hit you folks up any more than we have to, but
We're gonna have to.
Well, yeah, who has authority to change that?
It's a good question.
the group called county commissioners, but through the council. But you can't just do it overnight. We
Yeah,
can't go
but
out
where
and
we
say,
get
hey,
the
we're
funding
gonna.
from the state? And who made all these changes? I'm just saying. I'm gonna leave it up to your
It's
interpretation.
an uphill battle right now. Not much
Anyway,
to-
that's all. I think we're getting off the topic here.
Yeah, I
But,
apologize.
you know, I've heard all of everybody in the comment, I made how things change. But I'd rather listen and not make a knee-jerk reaction.
Oh, yes.
I've written down a lot of things here that you guys have talked about. And I'd like to finish going through this, but I don't want to make a decision right now. And I don't want to make, our next meeting, I don't want to make a decision either, because I want to see what Sherry has to say as well. It's like Mr. Carmichael said, we need to research a little bit more and then come up with a decision. And that's where I'm at. I'm not going to make a knee-jerk reaction. I'm more of a listener and then come up with a decision. And it might be in favor or it might be opposed. So,
And make adjustments in the future,
right.
for the future. All right.
I mean, like somebody said, this has been in for a year and we already want to make changes. Do we have to make them right now? No. I mean, it took 2 years to get where we're at. You know, it might take another 6 months to a year to make some tweaks here. Just like, I forget who said it, but you know, we left some stuff out that we overlooked. And so that's what brought us to this. And it wasn't nobody on this board that brought that to our attention. It was somebody from out there that brought that to our attention at one of our meetings. So that's why we're here. Somebody asked that question. And then some other things came up. So the bird flu came up. So, you know, we want to discuss things and not just say, hey, we're going to do it. We want some input. We can't make this decision just on our own.
So we definitely do want to handle the contractor situation relatively quickly. And one last thing on on our list would be and it was mentioned by the poultry person, covered manure stack and improved drive to manure stack. That is something that we are fairly adamant about. So that's
May I
probably
ask
something that's going to happen too.
May I ask a question? I forgot to talk about the improved drives. May I ask a
Yes.
question?
Go ahead.
I understand that that's become fairly standard as people have come in with AFOs.
It is now, yes.
What is there manure? Is there mud being tracked down the roads? Like what's trying to be achieved through that?
Go ahead, Ethan, you do this.
So the main issue is when the crop is off the field and the manure can be hauled and applied.
Yes.
Okay, there are certain times that you can get back to the manure stacks and certain times you can't.
Okay.
Same thing with getting in the fields. And so when the crop is off, there's a select time to get into these barns and empty the manure stack out so it's empty to go into the following year. If you can't get back to that drive, then it causes an issue. And a lot of these drives, especially on the AFOs, it's non-existent. There's not a pack drive going back there. It's just as the dirt was laid when the barn was built. There's no good way to get back to the barn. You're backing a 40-foot semi-trailer all the way down this lane to get back to the back of the barn where the manure stack is. And especially on an AFO, it may be a manure stack, it may be a mud hole. That's the main driving factor of getting some kind of improved surface going back to the barn so you can get back to the manure stack. I'm all for somebody wanting to put in an AFO, even if they don't have the ground to apply the manure on themselves, because that's keeping them on the farm. That's giving them a position to improve their family farm, live the lifestyle. But then you can't, when the contractor can't get back to the manure stack to empty it out, it causes issues. And some of the cost of trucks, everything else now, the last thing you want to do is have to hook a tractor onto a semi loaded with 60,000 pounds of manure and yank on it with a tractor because nobody can put in some kind of improved drive to get back to the manure stack.
I guess I would just question, like, definitely you've illustrated well that, yeah, there are times and places where you absolutely need that improved drive, but to require it for absolutely everyone, I mean, that's what I don't quite understand. I know it's been introduced and it's become fairly routine, but to take that fairly routine and turn it into required that's where we're struggling a bit.
We haven't been necessarily requiring it for everybody, the majority of everybody. But then we run into a lot of argument about it too, and how it's going to raise the cost of the barn. And I agree with that, but how much does gravel cost? It's not that expensive.
Okay.
You're already investing this much into your building and this much into your property and your farm. It's a minor improvement. And I don't care if it doesn't have to be limestone. I don't care if it's gravel, just some kind of improved packed surface to get back to that barn manure stack.
If it's hard to access, then people won't pick it up sometimes, and then they'll get overburdened with manure, and they'll just shove it off back behind the barn into the ditch, believe it or not.
Right,
So that's what we want to make sure we can make it very easy for people to get to the manure so it doesn't, we alleviate that problem that Ethan's had, that I've seen, just the same.
No, I don't doubt that it's a challenge, and that was one of the reasons we're going to the State House to try to get that changed so that you have that situation. You've got somebody to come and respond to it. But again, definitely something that's, on your list of tools that you can, ask for and ask people, how are you going to access your manure? Do you have, but absolutely requiring it every time. Maybe Tiffany has something to say about this.
I still think it should be case by case because not everybody has a commercial hauler that comes. Some people haul their own with their horses and spreaders. So I don't necessarily think that they would need to have an improved drive and have that extra cost. So I still think it should be case by case in accordance with an AFO.
Okay. What else we got to go through?
That's it. I disagree, but you go ahead.
I'll run some numbers on the length of a barn and what it actually costs to put a gravel drive back there and look at it that way too, from a cost perspective and see.
What does it cost to put the typical barn in?
Excavators here.
Yeah, I know we got an excavator here.
Organic properties that need to be limestone instead of.
Yeah, you must use limestone, or that's the feedback we get from most of the poultry guys.
Gravel would pass for organic, but not slag.
Not slag, correct.
What,
We're
what,
not just
what's the
talking about
cost?
Poultry barns here. We're talking about calf barns. We're talking about any barns. Calf barns are really short and you're still requiring an improvement.
I mean, it's a shorter barn, so it should cost less to put the drive in
Right, and
too.
it's not-
I'm not trying to be a butt, Tiffany, but most of the AFO issues we have with manure storage is related to the cattle side of it too.
You're right.
With,
But not with the trucks and, they're hauling it with a horse and spreader.
I want no
Them
excuse.
getting them off. The problems we're having most, or as far as I know, with the cattle operations is them stockpiling, and it's not from them not having the access to custom haulers, it's them holding on to it to put it on when they want to, or stockpiling it for how much ever time they want. It's not that they can't get to it because of a mud situation or they can't get back to it. That's all I'm saying is case by case instead of requiring them. If they're not able to spread it on their property because they don't have enough property to have chicken litter spread on their property, then yeah, they have to take it off their property somewhere because they don't have enough property. But when you have a calf barn of 290 calves and you have, well, now it's going to be 15 acres or 30 acres, and they can literally spread that on there because calf litter or calf manure isn't that strong. They can spread it themselves.
Why don't they though?
I can't answer that, and most do. There are certain ones, and I've been to sites with officials and seen, but that's not everybody. There are bad cases, but those bad cases can't speak for everybody.
So how do we know who the bad cases are?
You can't. But
That's what we require
you can't punish everybody for that bad case.
I think he's gonna be a bad producer, so we're gonna make him put a road in. But that
I don't-
person over there looks like a good producer,
I
so
don't-
we're not gonna make him put a road
I
in.
don't think requiring a drive back is punishment. It's a requirement of having the barn. So it's not punishment. I think that it's the cost of having the barn. I mean, you could choose not to put the barn in, not to put the drive in. If you put the barn in, that's part of the requirements for the county to address the issues we've had in the past. So we see the issues, you get the barn approved and move on. So that's what we have the luxury of having to deal with the problems after you guys get the barn up going. So that's what I'd say about that. So.
And that's all that we have on the updates, so, we got some homework to do. Go ahead, Tyler.
The setbacks on the AFO, initially, so everybody knows, it was not just AFOs, it was also CFOs and CAFOs, but those have been dropped. The requirements on the AFOs, I think, are a little ridiculous. And AFO for hogs is as little as 100, for cattle is as little as 30, chickens is as little as 6,000, up to 29,999, and calves is as little as 50 up to 299. I have 11 cattle barns and 7 hog barns. All my cattle barns by these numbers would be considered an AFO. They are a lot older than what most people that have AFOs are. None of my cattle barns, except for one, would meet the proposed 1,500 feet in between barns. My hog barns are all the same. None of my hog barns, all of which are next to each other, none of them would meet the 1,500 feet in between.
It's different property. We're not telling you that you have to have a barn 1,500 feet from your own barn.
Oh.
It would be from this property, the next property over, the barn would have to be 1,500 feet, not on the same property.
Well, even with that being said, I think that should be left to the determination of Culver Duck, Miller Poultry, and all of the aviaries. They know a lot better than this board what it takes to keep a chicken or a duck healthy. I know a lot about hogs and cattle, but I don't know a damn thing about chickens. Even though my wife wants me to, I refuse. However, you know, you shouldn't have to have 15 acres to have 30 cattle or 100 hogs or 6,000 chickens. I think that minimum acreage is a little excessive. It would coincide with the minimum subdivision in an A1 zone, but I think it's a little excessive. The setbacks, the original AFO setback was 125 feet from the road. The reason that being is that is ample turnaround room for a semi. I don't know why 200 feet would be needed. And as long as it is in an ag zone like it should be, I don't know why all these other setbacks should be doubled. I mean, if a barn is being built in an ag zone, that is what the zone is for. It is for the production of agricultural goods, whether it is chickens, ducks, horses, hogs, or cattle. I think if you choose to live in an ag zone, you are making yourself susceptible to what an ag zone can produce. I can tell you what, Royer and Fish Lake know when I pump my hog barns out. Sometimes I even see it on Facebook. But they are surrounded by an ag zone. And, you know, it is a blessing to live out in the country, to see the crops grow, the green and everything. But it is also a blessing to be able to go to your grocery store and get chicken, hogs, or beef whenever you want. And Duck, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out, Duck. But I don't think, it doesn't sound like a whole lot of decisions are being made tonight, but I, again, thank everyone for coming tonight to discuss this. And, yeah, like Lynn said, we've got a lot of talking to do moving forward.
I think we can move forward with the construction trades.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so, yes.
Is there anybody in here? Well, that wasn't even included in the, yeah, that.
Yeah, it was.
First time.
We have a situation where there is a contractor who wants to expand, but right now he'd have to go through a land use variance to do it because it's not in the ordinance.
You want a motion to get that on the agenda for public hearing? Okay. I'll make a motion to put the construction trade practices in the proper zoning, and have Robbie schedule the public hearing for next month.
Second.
Do we need a roll call for that, or can we just do a voice vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
I think our first speaker said it best today, Mr. Joe Urbanski, who presented that we just think about this. And although I've received a lot of advice as a county official, nobody's ever told me to slow down. But I appreciate this might be one thing we want to think about, and I think it's good. I want more information from Sherry to make the best decision for the county and the people who live here. So I want to thank Joe for speaking first.
And
It's been a tough crowd.
And if the LaGrange County Unifying Committee could provide us with some information, that would be great too. I'm looking at you, Howard. Oh, you're not? Oh, wow. Why not?
He is now.
Well, then I'm gonna look at Merv.
If anybody in the crowd has ideas on how the county can accommodate your guys' development, everybody's development in the county, relay it to Paul here. He's been the best go-between guy for the Amish community and this board as well. So I'm open to ideas. This county needs ideas to fund such development that you guys are doing. So.
And I have one more thing too. As far as the covered manure storage goes, there is a FSA program that people can apply for to get funding for a covered manure storage. It is a fairly lengthy process that can take some time. I've heard anywhere from 4 months to 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
From application to actually getting the money to pay for the covered manure storage.
Okay.
The FSA will pay for 85% of the covered manure stack, which in agriculture today, that's pretty significant. What I don't want this to hurt is the fact that if we're requiring it, they cannot get final approval on their building until that manure stack's put in, whether they have funding for it or not. So that's just something to consider. If somebody's seeking funding, it takes time to get an answer.
Chairman, I don't know if you want to take the time, but I think there's Herbert's and there's Natural Family Farms here that'd like to have a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
If not, they can also maybe do it at a meeting, but
Might as well. I'm past my bedtime already.
Yes, I'm sure my wife
Don't
is in her
want to, that's
pajamas
fine. I
already,
just-
so.
You guys have any more new concerns that weren't spoken about
I'd
already?
like to hear some setbacks or in-betweens or, I don't know, suggestions.
Distance between barns, whatever. Yeah. And you're from,
Natural Family Farms,
and your name is?
Myron Miller.
Myron Miller, okay.
And I didn't plan to speak, and I was on to first say there's no place like LaGrange County. And as we sit here, I had in a previous life had an opportunity to travel, as most of you guys know, in a lot of the different states and a lot of the different communities. And there is no place like LaGrange County. Ellicott County is probably as close as we get, but we get to play in this space, and there was a lot of good thought. I'm going to say from the Amish side, the Amish community. You know, I grew up here, been here all my life, and we see a lot of the dairy farms that are getting to the dairy farmers that can't probably survive as dairy farmers, still can kind of live their dream with, you know, smaller operations like the chickens, the ducks, and such. And so I would like to just say that, you know, our goal from the Amish side, as I'm sitting here, and I think Devon was saying it, if you open our Amish paper to blot, if you count the births in there, there's probably between 40 and 60. And, you know, we're big into families, but there's 40 to 60 births, Amish births in there every 2 weeks. And so it is critical. I got to be part of the comprehensive plan, I think 12, 15 years ago, and I got to work with Dorinda Gus in the woodworking community and did some planning. And back then we were already talking about the industrial parks and, you know, what do we want this community to look like? I got to sit in a couple of years ago in a bunch of those meetings. So got to work with Paul on some of these issues, but I think our goal, I think I can speak for all of us Amish people. Somehow we would like to figure out, and we greatly appreciate the opportunity to exist in this community and for the outside community. How do we work together? How do we not? I know what it's like to live in a country. We build these dream homes, and do we want a chicken house that's 100 feet away? I get both sides. It truly, we need to figure out a way to coexist and do it. But where are these next generation? What do we want our county to look like? And we're seeing the spread into Michigan. We're seeing it go east. But I think that's fair to think. What do we want this county to look like? 5 years, 10 years? You know, it's a very unique. If you drive through the countryside, you can drive past beautiful lakes and you can drive past cornfields. You can drive past. We take it for granted, but we live in an area with manicured yards, white fences, beautiful homes. We've got great Shipshewana, three hardwares, LaGrange, with beautiful infrastructure. And what does that come from? As Devon said, what would this look like if we still were just a farming community? I would challenge all of us with the the need for infrastructure, for roads, if we want to participate in this community, we should all pony up to the bar and pay our fair share. What does that look like? How can these businesses help repair those roads? It seems to me like we've got the people to do it. We got the best of all the worlds. We live in a community that's got all these blue collar workers, people that just want to roll up their sleeves and work. How can we marry up with white collar people? It was back when Dorinda Gus was in the community, and we had some dreams on that whole thing 15 years ago. But so I don't think anybody's looking to chintz our way through. If we can somehow find a way to help pay for infrastructure, I think these businesses would be glad to do it. So that's my story. We're tickled to be part of the community, and I agree with the fact that maybe our birds brought us bird flu, but probably our biosecurity helped with lateral movement, and I think we figured out a better way to manage through that in those final couple months. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I think what we talked about last week in the meetings, that been talked about on this board. I take it.
A little bit, mostly.
But I think
we
I heard.
discussed it fairly at length about separation between barns.
Yeah, and Tyler
distances.
kind of took the setbacks. That's gone because if you do the proposed setbacks, you can have 15 acre tracts in a square mile and have chicken barns every 500 feet. So that could be 30 barns in a square mile. So that proposal to me is not what us integrators want or need. The driveway issue, I have a little problem with demanding that from an AFO. Couldn't it be just left between the farmer and the commercial hauler? The commercial hauler doesn't have to haul it if the driveway is not there. And like me, I got a big farm. I haul my own manure. I don't need the drive. Why do I need to spend the money to put a drive? And there's a lot of others like that. And I think it should be left to the farmer and the commercial hauler. If the driveway is not there and the commercial hauler doesn't want to do it, it's between those two. Instead of demanding everybody to put a drive there. That's my personal opinion. And also I know there's a bunch of feedback about the agreements with neighboring properties. I know there are some people that feel strong about that, but there's also some that are really strong that needs to stay in place. So for what it's worth.
What would you say, if manure to haul, say, and the hauler can't get back there, what would be, and none of it's stored properly according to state guidelines. It's supposed to be on bermed and covered and all those other things. It just sits there, loses all of its nitrogen to the air. What would you suggest happen with that manure then?
The farmer's responsible.
Farmer's responsible. Okay. Well, so they're going to spread it out and it's going to, you're going to have 2 feet of manure on your property. That's not good for your ground,
Like I said, he can put a driveway in. He needs to put a driveway in if he's going to haul it off the farm.
Okay.
But leave it to the farmer.
Leave it to the farmer. Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you. Anybody else? Young man? No? Okay.
Thanks for that, though.
But I do appreciate the board willing to make changes to the UDO because that's huge if it's needed.
We try our best. Thank you. Anybody else? Anything else up here? Can we ask for adjournment? Anybody over here? Okay. Motion to adjourn? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
The farmer probably comes picks it up and takes it, shoves it out the back.
Shoves it out the back. I know. See, that's why it's got to be.
I've seen it.